Hi there guys and welcome to another Train Sim 2018 video. Today is something a little bit special, but it's also taken with what some people would see as sad news as well. It's also the demise of Virgin Trains East Coast. 24th of June I think it is, that actually goes. But hopefully this pack will be out before the end of it. This is of course the Brad Hardin Train Sim Design CH Scenarios, and probably other people that I've forgotten, have all collaborated to basically build and give us the best 91 and Mark IV set we can possibly have. We can even throw Armstrong Powerhouse in there because it uses their EP as well. I, of course, you know what I'm like. I'm a massive fan of the 91, and while I'm not a massive fan of the VTEC livery, I think any love given to the 91 in Train Sim is always a goer in my book. This is work in progress. There'll be people going, oh, you've got this and we haven't. Yes, it's like a trailer for a film. I am previewing this for them. It's due for release soon. It is in the final stages of development. Okay? Final stages of development. It is not at the very beginning. This is not something you'll be waiting years for. I can't give you an exact time because nobody knows an exact time. People are doing this in their own time. Nobody's working on this full time. So this is all people's hobbies. So it's not going to be something I can go, yes, by the 19th of June you will have this. I would think you will get it at a push within the month is what I would think, if not sooner than that. I hope sooner than that. But I would think within the month. Don't quote me on that. Again, that could go wrong. That could be not correct. Something might happen, which means it has to be delayed. There's all sorts of things that can happen. What we're going to do in this is I'm going to show you around the cool new features of these reskins, and then, features of the reskins. Yes. Then tell you what is still to come, and then we'll drive this thing up to Peterborough with some 91s passing on the way to show you a few of the other ones that are out there. Do remember this is a work in progress. It is not perfect. There are certain bits I will talk you through that I don't completely agree with yet. And of course the team don't, but this is going to be its first public airing on YouTube. I streamed it on Twitch last night, this exact scenario. So fingers crossed you guys like it as much as I do, and we will see this very soon. Okay, let's unpause the game. And then what I want to do first of all, before we even worry about looking at the loco, is go down to this bad boy down here. And I'm going to open my doors. I'm going to turn the desktop audio up so you can hear this better. Cracking new door sounds. Cracking new door sounds. I'll try and catch them closing now. I might not. With the 91s, I mean, the weathering on them looks pretty stunning. Yes, some bits look a little bit cracked, I understand that, and there is a bit of the carbon deposit looks a bit blocky if you get up close. All the nameplates of all the plated ones, as you can see, are 3D nameplates, so you can see how they're actually poking through. It's not just a decal whacked on the side. The next thing you'll notice is this is actually using the 91-1 model. So it isn't the 91-0 that came with the Intercity Swallow livery. This is the 91-0 that came in the East Coast livery from DTG. So it has the extra vents, it has the roof antennas, and all sorts of lovely bits and pieces like that. The next thing we have are LED headlights. Now the binding key for these has been changed to M for headlights. So we'll stick those on, and as you can see there, you have day headlights, and there is also now, I don't know if it's implemented into this version, there is also night headlight configuration, which there wasn't before. So it's actually very, very nice. I'm very pleased with it. Very, very pleased with it. Does that then change what's on the front? No, that's good. That'll be sorted out in a little while. Right, go back to the coaches for the doors closing. Yes, they sound brilliant. They sound really good. Next thing I just want to show, I'm going to pause the game so we don't run too late. Yeah, the security screws around the windows I have said are too light, so they are on my list. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? These are destination indicators of all things, a Mark IV version. These are changeable within the scenario now. So if you knew your train was going to Peterborough, you could have it just going to Peterborough. So if we look at our timetable at the minute, it's Stevenage and Peterborough, then it'd be going Grantham, Doncaster, Wakefield, Westgate, and then Leeds. So it is the service we are doing. It's not on every coach yet, they're just finalising the last bits and pieces of where it can fit and where it can't. But as you will see, I think they're a really, really nice touch. A really, really nice touch. The other thing to notice when we're out on this view is that we now have the red Virgin interior on the Mark IVs. And in first class, we also have the black. I'll show you that. The other things we have are these. Now, this is just sort of the detail and depth that these guys are going to. These are all correct. These are all the right way around. They're the right seat numbers. They're everything. All of them have a different one. It's all been done really, really nicely. I'll bomb it down to first class for you to have a quick look. And as you can see there, you've got the first class boudoir interior, as I call it. But we'll get on to that as we start talking about the demise of Virgin Trains East Coast. Plush tush, I think, was the term used. Didn't like that at all. DVT, of course, we've now got the Wi-Fi dome because we're using the 91.1 set. And I must say, out of everything that they've done on this, for me, the DVT just really stands out as a very, very pretty bit of kit. A very, very pretty bit of kit. For some reason, it just looks, to me, it really fits the bill. Really, really fits the bill. And you guys know I'm no massive Virgin Trains East Coast livery fan. I'm going to grab that. That's my screeny. Try and get a bit more King's Cross in there and a bit more of those lights. There we go. Right, let's move. Let's move because my cab's not even set up. Let's get my speed set at 15. Let's get into forwards, power on, brake off, DRA off. Should have my DRA off before that, I know. Let's have some instrument lights as well. Let's get them on to dim. Now, I know that Brad is also working on something quite cool for the cab. He's keeping it very close to his chest about what he's actually doing with it, so we don't know what it's going to be. But I'm excited to see what that's going to be. For me, as much as the exteriors need to look nice, and I really enjoy them, I'm not the sort of bloke that in my day-to-day playing of train sim, when I'm not reviewing anything, would go looking for faults on liveries. I wouldn't go down to those coach numbers and see if the seat numbers actually matched up to the coach it was on. I love that level of detail. I think that's really cool. For me, this is where the business happens. As you guys all know, I like the cabs. I like the feel of the train. I like the look of the train. I like to press buttons. Cabs where it's at for me. When I am playing by myself, I very rarely go out of the cab. So we'll watch this other 91 come in now. I will do this for most of the 91s if I catch them all. I did miss a couple on the stream last night. There will also be, let me warn you about this now, there will also be some floating couplings. It just seems to be these 365s at the minute have this really nasty habit of not showing up. So I do completely and utterly apologise for that. But they are installed correctly. So there's something going a bit awry with them. Sometimes the old 365s have done this to me in the past. Chris has had this issue as well, so I know it's not just me. So that's one of the no-name motorbikes, it's just the plain VTEC livery, isn't that right? So, Virgin Trains East Coast. Before I start, I will be mixing some facts with opinions. I'll try and remember to tell you that, but if we just take it as this is my opinion throughout this video, then we're fine. I am by no way, when I start talking about this, criticising the day-to-day operational staff of Virgin Trains East Coast, nor am I criticising even probably the middle management and things like that. My criticism come from probably quite high up in the Virgin Trains East Coast stagecoach and Department for Transport. Now, those, yes, I suppose, in my opinion, I am criticising them. What a flop. I'm really pleased that it's going to be nationalised. Very, very pleased it's gone back into government control. Directly operated railways, who ran East Coast, did a sterling job, really. And I'm hoping to see more of it happen around the rail network. And there's going to be lots of people going, no, we should have it privatised. Fine. That's your opinion, my opinion, and plenty of other people's opinion, actually, is nationalisation is going to be a good thing for the British Railways at the moment. Now, people go, oh, people have rose-tinted glasses when it comes to BR. Please, please, please stop with that argument. Please. We won't be going back to BR. BR haven't existed since 1997. They're just going to go, all right, let's just go back to doing exactly what we did in 1997. Of course it's not going to work like that. Of course it is not. How it will look at the moment, we don't know. We don't know. Oh yeah, there's some floaty couplings to our right there. It's the Sunderland HST. This, I am proud to say, will be released imminently. So this is something that is coming within the next couple of days, I'm told. And it's beautiful. This is all hand-drawn in Illustrator by Lewis Clowes. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. This hasn't got it's not dull and hull. It's never dull and hull. Right, so as I was saying, yeah. What do we know we're going to get British Rail-wise or nationalised rail? For me, the main advantages and the main line of what I'm looking for is the railways run for railways' sake. That's what I would like to see. The railways run for passengers and the railways. So the railways, money going back in to the railways. That's all I want. That's all I want. I know there are companies that need to make profits. No problem with that whatsoever. But something as vitally important to a nation as railways, gas, electric, water, things like that, I'm very much a fan of being nationalised. Some of you won't agree, and that's cool, but it is exactly what I think, and I would hope that, again, even though this is a Conservative government who 3 weeks ago said they weren't never going to nationalise anything, and nationalisation of any part would be an absolute failure, have turned around and said, OK, Virgin, you can't afford to run this anymore. We'll save your face and we'll take it off you. Absolute scandal is what it is. But the DfT aren't innocent in this either, are they? So the government aren't innocent in this one at all. So what's basically happened is you get people going, they haven't lost the franchise, they haven't had it taken away from them. Yeah, the bottom line of it actually is that Virgin Trains and Stagecoach Group said, these aren't the facts and figures that we signed up for, we're not getting what we want out of this, we want out. And the government was saying, okay, well, we'll fine you, as is the terms in your contract, we'll just take it off your hands, basically. I'd say it's funny. It isn't really funny. It isn't really funny, but that's basically what's happened. They couldn't afford to continue running the franchise. They weren't making the profit margins they wanted, so therefore they've handed it back. Either way, lots of people in the neutral section, I didn't prep for it. Lots of people that I know that work for Virgin Trains East Coast are actually really, really pleased that it's coming out of Virgin's hands. The morale, I did say this in one of my previous videos. One of the blokes that I know said to me, he goes, do you know something, mate? He said, I've been through GNER, National Express, East Coast, now Virgin, and he said, I thought it could never get any worse than National Express. He said morale was so low in the National Express days. And then he came and he said, but it's not. He said it is lower. He said morale within Virgin Trains East Coast at the moment is lower than it was in the National Express days. It's one bloke's opinion again. I'm not saying every member of staff had a very low opinion of Virgin Trains East Coast, but I think those that have been around a bit tend to have quite a strong view on where Virgin Trains East Coast went wrong. Now, why am I glad that we haven't got Virgin Trains East Coast? Oh, just to make this clear for those that don't understand, nobody's going to lose, well, apart from some very high-up managers, nobody's going to lose their jobs. So your drivers aren't going to lose their jobs, on-train staff aren't going to lose their jobs, not at the moment anyway, unless there's some major reshuffling, which is always a possibility. But they get what's called tubed over, and that basically means that whoever takes over have to honour what's already been in place, staff-wise, in terms and conditions, that sort of thing. So why am I a bit... Oh, I've got something at New Barn. Oh, yeah, no, right. Why am I happy they're going? I felt like Virgin Trains East Coast cheapened the East Coast main line. With their weird branding, with their don't flush goldfish down the toilet and your hopes and dreams, with their just, I don't know, just, I suppose it's just not to my taste. How's that? That's probably the better way to put it. Reading one of the email that the director sent out internally yesterday to VTech staff, it said used a word and it was hashtagged in this guy's own email. So this director of this company is using a hashtag in a corporate company-wide email, and it used the term plush tush. What even is that? What even is that? Is this like one of those, like the red hot thing I can kind of get, but plush tush? And again, this is purely my opinion. Purely my opinion. And it might just be me getting old and doesn't like it, but the Mallard refurb that GNR did had a bit of style about it. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it was looking dated and needed replacing. But it had a bit of style about it. Virgin Trains East Coast, so directly operated railways, East Coast, they, with their purple and the grey, lots of people hate it, and I'll be honest with you, when it first came out, I was not a massive fan. But it has grown on me. It has grown on me. And now I look back and I think, oh, I quite like that. Actually, that was quite tasteful. Then the purple was a bit garish and it was everywhere, but I quite liked it. I really quite liked it. Whereas, even though these Reskins are lovely, it does look like a Wolves ice cream man. It just doesn't look like much thought was given to the 91. I always felt this livery was a bit rushed. It wasn't very cleverly thought out. It wasn't very cleverly designed. It just looked a bit rushed. So yes, they didn't fail because of their livery. That's not why they failed. They failed because of... well, in their words, the Department for Transport basically didn't give them the correct information. There was also delays. So I'm going to shout my dog. Give me a second. Enjoy face cam. You see, if I'd done that on a video, you wouldn't have known. But with face cam, you know I've done that now. Let's get my speed set back up. Sorry, what I've done is I've bound my speed set to my Nostromo over here, so I've got it on a scroll wheel, so I can, which I quite like, and I'm just forgetting to use it really. So yeah, the Department for Transport gave them some dud figures. They also didn't get the IETs in time. There's various things they can blame it on. But they've been pretty much in trouble for about a few months, I think when the comment on Facebook I was reading the other day first came out about 14 weeks ago, so 3-4 months ago, is when we first got hint that there was a bit of issue. The bit that I was really disappointed about, and this really sort of got to me. One of my friends was at work for Virgin Trains East Coast. I was telling him what was going on, and I was just getting it from national press and a few other sources, but they just, there was no warning to staff about this. There was no sort of talk about stuff like this. There was a poor guy on my Facebook page back when this first came out going, no, they're not going to lose it. And he even used the term armchair enthusiast. He says, you armchair enthusiasts think you know it, but I know it, and I work at Virgin, and we're not losing the franchise. That doesn't bother me. That bloke's kind of in his own head right. Because when you work for a company and you've got loyalty to a company, you think you're being treated properly. You think you're being looked after. You think you're in the know. You think you're being given the right, correct information. This happens in all industries as well. Where I work, it's known as mushroom management. It is, I'm not going to use the swear term, but it's keep you in the dark and feed you cow dung. And I think that's what's been happening. In my opinion, I'll be very careful about that. In my opinion, that's what's been happening with VTech. Because I've got some staff that have been through many changes and some that have only just recently started. And the ones that have recently started are like, oh, I'm really sad to see the end of Virgin Trains East Coast. I've really liked it. And all those older ones that have been there, even through sort of just even East Coast. And my other one's been there from National Express, and another guy I know has been there since GNR, and one of the ladies I know has been there since BR in 1992. So all the older ones are going, yes, thank God we can go back to normality. Let's get some customer service back into this. Let's get our trains running on time. Let's get all our food stuff sorted. Let's get first class back to normal. Let's get this all done. Let's not have form over function, which I think, again, in my opinion, is what Virgin are very good at. They're very good at making things look pretty and look like it's all good. But there's just corners being cut here and there and all over the place. It's something like 76 million they've invested, Virgin Stagecoach, throughout the franchise they've had for 3 years. But how many of that they're back in subsidies? How much of that has been covered by the Department for Transport? How much of that has been done by the Roscoes? It's never quite as clear cut as they make out, is it? So these people get into these jobs. They really want to work on the railway. They've been given a job with Virgin Trains East Coast. And let's not lie, right? The East Coast Main Line, it was a top link route. Top link. It was like the creme de la creme. That and the West Coast, the main line express passenger companies, the express locomotives, the express services. Prestigious. If I got a job with Virgin Trains East Coast 6 months ago, I would probably be a bit sad because it was all I knew. Because it was all I knew. So I would probably not know any better. So that's why I would be sort of sad about going, because I'd be worried about the unknown. What's the new operator going to be like? Am I going to have a job? Is my job going to stay the same? Is my role going to stay the same? That sort of thing. Are we going to go down in standards instead of up? British Rail were terrible. They only fed us bad sandwiches and didn't invest any money. These are the livestock trains. So there are all these things to take into consideration. So when I see people that are bashing these people that are going, oh, I'm sad to see Virgin go, don't do that. Don't do that. If they work for Virgin and they're proud to work for Virgin, let them have that. Good. I'm pleased. It shows me that the employer did something right along the way. Fantastic. But the vast majority of those that have been there before knew that this is kind of the worst it's been morale-wise. And that's not just, there was one person that told me the worst in East Coast, but I've heard from pretty much everybody I know that works at Virgin the morale was very low. So it's tricky. It's tricky to know what we're going to get. I mean, what we're looking at the moment is actually very, very pretty. Very, very pretty. It's called LNER. which I like. The logo itself is a bit of a throwback to sort of Art Deco-y, sort of GNR-ish. It's very nice. It's red with white lettering. It's nice. It's very nice. I'm quite impressed by it. DFT have had a website up. I think that website was purchased in April, I think. So they've known what's been coming. They've been prepping for what's been coming. I know there is always a team ready to step in and run railways and franchises go wrong. And I think what the Department of Transport have been doing for the last couple of months is preparing to take over, and then they've got time to take it. There was meetings going on yesterday, and one of the directors was in a meeting that somebody else was in, and they even said that one of the directors was even shocked at the result. They didn't think they were actually going to have it completely pulled through. They thought they were going to be sort of a management sort of type thing. They'd be managing it and running it, but not looking after it financially and things like that. But no, they're going to be completely gone as of the 24th. I should really check it's the 24th, shouldn't I? This is when I do lots of video prep and then forget as soon as I sit down. So, I mean, Facebook was wild yesterday, absolutely wild with what was going on. Right, so this was the email. I'll read you the email that was sent out to the VTech staff yesterday. It's a message from David Horn, and it was titled "The Future of the Franchise." So it says, "Dear colleagues, as you know, the Secretary of State announced plans last year to bring train and track together under the East Coast Partnership. We submitted our proposal for what the franchise could look like between now and 2020, which centred on significant benefits for passengers, colleagues and taxpayers. The DFT has been considering this, and despite extensive discussions, I say with a heavy heart, we haven't been able to reach an agreement that works for all parties. This means that we will operate the East Coast franchise until June 24th, before it then transfers to London North Eastern Railway Limited, which is a new government-owned company." Now, please remember, this is the email. This is completely and utterly what everybody has been told. This is the email. "This is not the outcome I wanted. Over the past 3 years, we've invested over 75 million into the business. We're now running 11% more services each week. We've brought some plush tush to our trains. A personal highlight for me has been our annual Red Hot Awards, where we have celebrated and honoured our amazing colleagues and your exceptional achievements to our customers. I'm immensely proud of all great things we've achieved and the energy we've put in." Right. They had the East Coast Awards before the Virgin Awards. They didn't bring that in. They just changed the name to Red Hot. "For the time being, it's business as usual. We need to stay focused on getting our customers to their destination safely, on time, and having a great experience. Let's start breaking for Stevenage, otherwise we are going to miss it. When the franchise transitions to the LNER on June the 24th, your contract and terms of employment will transfer under the Transfer of Undertakings Protection of Employment Regulations, or TUPE or TUPE. Colleagues transferring to Hitachi will do so as planned in November. Naturally, you may have questions, and I'm keen to give as much information as possible. We will soon circulate a set of Q&As. Members of the leadership team will be available across the network in the coming days too. For some of you, this will be a new experience. I really don't want anyone to feel unsettled. This transition should be seamless. As I said, business as usual. For those who've been through a franchise change before, you'll hopefully understand the process. Just actually break so we make Stevenage for like the first time ever on the East Coast Main Line, because I always miss it. So for those who've been through a franchise change before, you'll hopefully understand this process and realise little will be changed in your roles. However, please be considerate of others and do what you can do to reassure them. This is what I was talking about earlier. It is likely this announcement will generate some media coverage and speculation and will be easy to be drawn into this. However, I don't want any of you to be distracted, but instead pull together and continue to deliver for our customers and capitalise on a great NES and NRPS scores we have received recently. We're a fantastic team, and we should have pride in what we've all done under the Virgin brand. So they are right, actually. It is Virgin Trade. The East Coast team I've always had really good experiences with, and that's through GNER onwards, BR onwards. They are a very good team, and hands down to them, they run some very difficult services. They deal with some very difficult customers. They deal with not the most reliable of routes, and they do that quite well. 9 times out of 10 when I have had an issue on a Virgin Trains East Coast service, it has been not the onboard train crew's fault. But with morale being so low recently, I've had some experiences where I've gone, okay, you shouldn't have done that. But if you feel crap in your job, it's hard work, isn't it? So yes, there you go. I've also got lots of comments. One of them I'll just say, because it's the only clean one that I've got, is goes a little bit something. Who's out this weekend? Royal wedding celebrations? And then it says, oh no, got that wrong. Let's party and celebrate the end. So as you can see, there's lots of people that are very pleased that they're going. And I like the way that the directors do acknowledge that in their email. They say, look guys, those that have been through this, you know the score, but need to reassure the people that haven't been through this. I quite like that. I think Virgin were pretty kept in the dark a little bit. I think their staff were definitely kept in the dark. They knew, I mean, come on, they would have known they weren't going to come to agreement when they were basically saying pay us more money, and the transport were saying no. Or give us more of a subsidy, no. Let us off with a little bit more, no. Now, the Department for Transport, very cleverly, let me read that statement as well, because that sort of is important. So, regarding how they are going to get, so what we're looking at the moment is LNER might also get the Great Northern. And where that comes from is this statement here. Mr. Speaker, I've set out my plans to restructure the Thameslink Southern and Great Northern franchise following the successful delivery of the Thameslink programme. I've indicated that we'll separate into two or more franchises after the end of the current contract in 2021. We have not yet reached a decision about how to operate Great Northern services. However, I have had initial discussions with the Mayor of London about the possibility of transferring some of these to the London Overground, as recommended by Chris Gibb in his report. Any change would be subject to consultation, but there is also an operational case for integrating the Great Northern services from King's Cross into the new LNER operation, and this is an option that I'm asking my officials and the new LNER route board to do feasibility work on. Alright. That's politician speak. Doesn't mean it's definitely happening, but it looks like it might. It's a possibility at the moment, so that's quite interesting as well. In fact, that's very interesting stuff. So, another big argument I have for this against nationalisation is BR didn't invest. Privatised companies have brought in competition and We've had so many full order books, we've never been this full. Fibs. Absolute fibs. Let's take inflation into account and I'll read you these figures, right? So, the state rolling stock investment 5 years before privatisation, okay? So 1989, 439 million. 1990, 451 million. 1991, 598 million. 1992, 794 million. 1993, 927 million. Alright? That's a lot. Private, but state-guaranteed rolling stock investment over the past 5 years. Okay? So this means that they have invested it, but even if anything went wrong, the government would still step in and pay for it, which it already has, and has already paid bits of it anyway. It's kind of fibs. So they started this sort of deal in about 2008. Don't get me wrong, post-privatisation leading up to the 2000s, there was a lot of investment. There was an awful lot of investment in new rolling stock. Again, that was all government-backed, but not more than this stuff even is, right? So this is basically going on about the IETs and that. So 2008, 452 million. 2009, 392. 2010, 459. 2011, 283. 2012, 369. So total in million would be 3,209 million in between 1989 and 1993. And the total between 2008 and 2012 was 1,955 million. I know that's funny, 1,000 million, but it's just the way it's done in the figures. So 3.2 million or 1.9 billion. Competition. Let's cover that one. Competition. By privatising the British Rail, we will bring more competitive fares and bring wider competition to the railways. How many open access operators have actually been successful? Very few. How many bids have there been for open access operators? Many. How many times have open access operators gone for new routes and been told you can't have it? Because you know, Jenny R need this, National Express need that, Great Western need this, and you'll be taking money out of their pockets. It isn't competition. It isn't competition. It's not like a coach. So you could get a coach and run it from Cambridge to London and undercut National Express. You can't do that on the railways. It's not competition. So we've got Hull Trains, we've got Grand Central. Who else do we have that's open access? A few others, if there is a few others. I have to look it up. I can never remember how many open access operators there are in the UK. France, United Kingdom. Okay, so there's a few that are a bit odd here, which you can't really call open access operators as such. You've got Eurostar, they use their own infrastructure. Doesn't really matter. Grand Central, mentioned them already. You've got Heathrow Connect and Heathrow Express, they now won't be there, now being taken on by the GWR franchise. You've got Hull Trains, Nexus, London Underground, using their own stuff. Nexus use their own infrastructure, and pre-metro operations, include who they are. They run Parry People Mover on the Stourbridge branch. So actual mainline operators that don't use their own infrastructure, because even though Heathrow Connect and the Heathrow Express part of the national line, they also use the Heathrow bit, which is their own infrastructure. So it is Grand Central and Hull trains. It's loads of competition, that, isn't it? Loads of competition. It's just the irony of it is that British Rail was looking its best so they could sell it. In the late 80s, early 90s, that's when it was, you're talking at its best. I mean, Intercity was turning a profit. It was turning a profit. Find any other railway in the country at that time, it was turning a profit. In the world, sorry, not the country. In the world, the Intercity sector was turning a profit. Freight was turning a profit. British Rail were making money above what their subsidies and things were. I mean, very well done. Very well done. In my eyes, privatisation should have been cancelled after the Hatfield crash. After the demise of Rail Track. Should have been just then. Oh look, hang on a second. With so many different people accountable for so many different things. And people talk about really large nationalised businesses being inefficient. Don't get me wrong, right? British Rail was not efficient. It was not efficient. There was money being splurged left, right and centre. Of course there was. Of course there was. Just like the NHS. But if you look at the NHS as an example, where do I see most of my money being hemorrhaged in the NHS? Serco, G4S, Sodexo. That's where the money's going. We're paying out multi-million pound contracts to run services which we can run ourselves for cheaper. It's outrageous. So this is the Intercity 50 liveried one, named one. Livery's pretty much very, very similar. Just because I love the font, I think that I really like that nameplate. See when that comes off. I've never really been that tempted to buy a nameplate, but I would like to get one like that. Even if it was a repro. Oh, near Twisted Red Black's house. It's very pretty. The weathering on it, I mean, the level of weathering, yes, there is some question. It's like crap, like I said earlier. But actually, on the whole, I really like the weathering. I do hope that there's some X-Works examples put in, so you can choose between weathering and X-Works one. I don't know if we will see that. That's just my hope. So yeah, I'm all for the nationalisation. And I'm really excited for what we're going to see on the East Coast Main Line. I'm excited about what LNER are going to do. Now, somebody commented on the stream last night. They were saying, oh God, the franchise hasn't even been sorted out yet. It's only just been lost and you guys are all worrying about what livery thing's going to be in. See, if I was running a railway company, one of the first things I'd be worried about, it'd be high on my priorities what livery my trains are running. Because A, I wouldn't want to be advertising anybody else's name on the side of my train, and two, I would want my brand known. It is the public bit, it is the bit the public see. It is the brand. So let's talk about livery. Do I think we're going to see some apple green? No, I don't. I think we're going to see VTEC livery for a long time to come. I don't think there will be masses of change straight away. I hope there is, and I'm really hoping I'm proved wrong. But I can't see them going and starting relivering everything just like that. But we'll wait and see. The LNER logo, go and have a look. Look that up on Google it now, have a look, you'll see what it looks like. It is pretty. I like it anyway. I like it. I haven't actually looked through their website. It is now live. Is there anything actually? Have a look, see if there's anything on the VTEC website. Nah, nothing there on their website yet. Third of the 5th was actually the first time they put any news on their website. And that was about being able to book a ticket with an Amazon Echo. And LNER.co.uk takes you to the A1 steam on World of Trust. It's going to be an interesting crossover period, isn't it? Interesting crossover period. To be fair, my browser is still East Coast Trains. It just takes me to VTEC, so whatever happens, it'll take me on to the LNER. I mean, it was actually quite funny that I heard on the grapevine a little while ago that they weren't allowed to put any of their branding on the May timetable, the new timetable of May. And this is why. So they blatantly knew. They blatantly knew they weren't going to use it. It was a way for Virgin to get out. Well, Virgin. So, hang on. What I keep saying Virgin. Everybody's going to be going, it's Stagecoach as well. It's mainly Stagecoach. Yes, it's only 5% Virgin. In all honesty, around 5% Virgin. So I think it's 49% of Stagecoach Rail is owned by Virgin as well, or Stagecoach. Oh, Virgin Rail is owned by Stagecoach. So there's actually only 5%. It's 90-10 split in the VTEC franchise, but then within the Virgin Stagecoach thing themselves, there's a 50-50, near enough 50-50% split there. So it halves that again, which makes it 5% Virgin. Now people are going, it's not really Virgin's fault. Virgin are getting some unfair flack. I'll tell you what was unfair. It was on the news last night that they were showing Virgin West Coast stuff when it's the East Coast, and they are two separate companies. But it serves them right. If you want to use your logo for your business, and you want it promoted and out there, like Virgin did with this franchise, you deal with the consequences. You deal with the consequences. It's your business to do as you wish with. If you chose to take that route and have your publicity everywhere and your goldfish down the toilet stuff and the Virgin logo shoved on everything you possibly can, apart from anything that costs money like cups and cutlery and anything smart, do that. But see, when it all goes wrong and everybody's going, oh, Virgin are crap, Virgin are rubbish, Virgin are awful. Tough. Really winds me up when there's people out there going, oh, but they're showing Virgin West Coast and that's not right. You're right, it is not right. That's true. But it serves Virgin right. If they wanted to mix the two together, it's their bad. It's their bad. Because to the layman, to the person who gets on a train and goes from A to B, do you think for 1 second they know the difference between the 91 and the 390? Do you think for 1 second they know the difference between the East Coast Main Line and the West Coast Main Line stock? Do you think for 1 second they know the difference between Virgin Trains East Coast and Virgin Trains West Coast? No. Skyfall. 07, I had this up to York actually the other week. Very, very nice. Another great one. It's something about these new textures make them really stand out beautifully. They're very, very nice. So yeah, I've no real issue with Virgin as a company. A lot of people hate them for Branson's sake. I think Richard Branson was a very clever man. I might not agree with his ethics a lot of the time and how he does business sometimes, but I wouldn't avoid buying anything that was Virgin related. I don't like what they did to the East Coast Main Line. Wasn't particularly overly impressed with them as an airline. Flown Virgin Atlantic a few times. Middle of the road, all right. Get what you pay for, I suppose. Pretty decent, sort of. So it's not. This isn't just a big Virgin bashing. Oh, I hate Virgin because I hate Virgin. No, I've stuck to the factual stuff and the facts, and I've told you what it's my opinion about the boudoir interiors. And I can't stress it enough. The heritage, the prestige, the top link aspect. I'm talking about the pride of people who work for the company and everything like that. If you dumb everything down, if you try and come down to this hashtag level for everything, you in my eyes, you are starting to lose a little bit of credibility. You're not a youth brand of clothing. Sort it out. Sort it out. It's a train. People either want to get on it and get there in comfort and on time. In a clean environment. Now, if you can make that a bit classier, then fine. But plush tush? What even is that? Plush tush. Go away. And don't get me wrong, those seats in first class are comfy. They are comfy. They're still on the Mallard's refurb actual seats themselves, just they've been recovered. Another 365 floating. But they just look a bit tacky in my eyes. And what really annoys me is red and black. As you can see, red and black is my thing. My bike's red and black. My sunglasses are red and black. My computer is red and black. I love red and black together. But those interiors just don't do it. Something just doesn't sit right with me. Standard was alright. Standard was very red, but it was alright. I just don't like the little quick jokes on things. And there's stupid little bits that they've cut corners with, like cost saving with the food and everything like that. I was on the train the other day with a guy, and he had been on the same train for about 6 weeks in a row, and he hadn't been fed once in first class. All those times he hadn't had one hot meal, and he wasn't by any way, shape or form moaning at the onboard staff. He really wasn't. And he was just saying, look, there's got to be a reason why this is. There's got to be something going on when this train gets to Edinburgh. There's either not enough time to load it, or there's not enough time, and we're speeding. There's not enough time to get a chef, or the chef shift doesn't start right, or something. And this quite nice lady was sitting there listening to this, and before she could answer, another really stern woman walked right behind her and went, "It's a buffet car power failure, as simple as that, and that's all there is to it." And I just thought, I'll look that up. It wasn't true. It wasn't true. And that I find sad. That I find sad. It's the EMT set. Oh, I think that's got Never Dull and Hull on it. Yeah, it has. So I think, don't quote me on this, this is coming out as well with the Sunderland reskin, so all should be good on that. Again, the detail on this and the beautiful work that's been done by Lewis Clowes is beautiful. He is now part of Train Sim Designs. He comes under their umbrella. I was informed the other day. So keep an eye out on the TSD website for that. Linked in the description below. Shall I show you my what I've done with my speed set actually? Let's do that. So this is my Nostromo, and that's mounted at the end of. For those of you that don't know, I haven't watched the Shed Tour video. I actually sit in a recliner. I don't. It's a big lazy boy. I don't do a desk setup as such. And what I have here is a Nostromo. Now, on top of that, I have this scroll wheel, and I now have the scroll wheel. I'm going to pull it down. It adjusts my speed set, and I'm finding it brilliant to use, so I am enjoying that. I will do a shed update video when I've actually got it finished. Time and money are always the issue when it comes to projects like that, isn't it? Everybody has them. So yeah, I won't be sad to see Virgin go. I will feel bad for those people that will feel bad about Virgin going. For those staff that have only started within Virgin that don't know anything else, I'm sure it's a horrible, horrible time. And my utmost respect goes out to you guys. If something like this only was happening in my work, I would be in pieces. I'd be mortified. So if you guys do manage to keep a smile on your face and still do what you do day in, day out, hats off to you. Hats off to you. But I, for one, will be having a drink on the 24th, and I will be saying goodbye and good riddance to Virgin Trains East Coast. One request I do have is, before any of you guys go and talk about this with anywhere on any forums or Facebook groups or anything like that, please, please, please read up about how franchising works, how it's gone, how the East Coast Main Line's happened, how everything's happened on the East Coast Main Line. Because there's people going, why is the East Coast Main Line the only one that's had 4 operators since privatisation? As I said at the beginning of this video, the East Coast Main Line, pre-privatisation, was making a profit. Intercity sector was making a profit. And just to remember as well, I wasn't just blaming Virgin. Department for Transport are involved in this as well. Stagecoach. I use Virgin as that's the one that everybody will know. And if I've got anything wrong in this and you can back it up, please feel free to stick it in the comments section. Also, do tell me what you thought of Plush Tush. Do you like the more sort of young, vibranty feel of Virgin's branding, or did you prefer sort of something with a little bit more class? Here we are into Peterborough. So, thank you very much for joining me, guys. I hope this hasn't been too much of a rant for you. I hope this starts some interesting conversations. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe. And also, when you do subscribe, don't forget to hit that little bell button just to make sure you get to see when my videos are coming up first. That does make a big difference to me. Heading over to Twitch and Facebook, both links are in the description below. Let's get those doors open and listen to those sounds one more time. I like them. I don't know if we'll hear them close before the scenario ends, but we'll try. Love the little seagull squeak as well. Alright, and guys, thanks ever so much. I'll catch you next time.